Hey Emily, it's Adrian from Cox and the Hen Designs. I'm just here on your Pinterest profile to do your audit that we talked about. Looking over the form that you submitted, you're looking for tips on how to drive traffic, increase email signups and opt-ins, increase brand awareness. You also noted that you started this blog last year that you work on in your free time. So that's great. We'll take a look at your Pinterest and a quick look at your blog, just at some of your pins that you're pinning. So here on your profile, we've got a little slice of M, which I know is your blog name. You could also make that longer. You could add like a dash or one of those tall line separators and add a couple of long tail keywords. You could add your lifestyle blogger and Instagram influencer in there. I know when you change your name and your settings on your profile on the desktop, you're limited to, I believe it's 30 characters. But if you go on to the app on your phone and change it, that limit is gone and you'll be able to add in those extra characters to get the keywords that you want. So that's just an extra little pro tip there for getting those in. Your bio is really good. You've got your main keywords of what you do and a little bit about yourself personally, that you love all things beauty, food, fashion, crafts, and social media. So that's great. Your website is verified, so that's awesome. And your header at the top here, you've got your blog board featured with all your most recent pins, so that's really good. Your branding looks awesome. You know, your colors, when I see your pins, they're very recognizable now because they're all the same. So that's really good. When we go to your boards, so you've got 27 boards. I see you don't have any featured ones. So beyond the header at the top, if you go into your profile, about halfway down, I don't remember exactly where it is, there's a small little line about featured boards that you can edit, and you can select up to 5 of your boards to choose that basically just show as a carousel along the top of your profile that it flips through. So that's another way to get your blog front and center right at the top of this list. You could also reorganize your boards so that your blog board is at the top of the list, or any other ones. I'm not sure if this is, as it's not alphabetical, maybe it's sorted as most recently pinned to. So you might want to change that. There'll be a little box right over here that'll give you the option of how you want to sort those, and you can put them in a custom order depending how you want people to see which boards first. So looking at your board names, we've got blogs I need to read, my dream closet, future home, hair, future children, pictures I love, DIY crafts. So some of these names are really good. DIY crafts, that's something that people are going to search. Some of these are a little bit more generic. So if someone's coming onto Pinterest and they're trying to find a recipe, they're probably not going to search for food and drinks. They're going to be a little bit more specific. Are they looking for a supper recipe, breakfast recipe, cake, cookies, vegetables, So I see that you do have sections here, but you might want to break those down into their own boards. Ever since they introduced sections, I'm not sure how much weight they put on your section titles. I know with your board names, those will help you get found in search, but I don't know if these lower section titles would. So you might want to consider separating your food boards into their own instead of the sections. I know it might look a little bit less cleaner, but it's going to help people finding you in your search as well. All food and drinks that I need to try. So for the description here, you might want to add more long tail keywords. Even if you are keeping the sections, you might want to put, healthy food recipes, bread recipes, banana bread recipes, just some more keywords of the types of things that they're going to find in here. So if it was a board that was breakfast, breakfast foods, bread recipes, muffin recipes, breakfast casseroles, all the types of things that people are actually searching for. And even if you typed it into the search, right in Pinterest is where I do all my keyword research. So if I was looking for a breakfast casserole recipe, I literally would type breakfast casserole recipe. But as you see here, it starts breaking it down and giving you further keywords. And if I was to click on one, all of these tiles at the top are ways that you can filter it down even more. So you can basically create whatever kind of long tail keyword you want, narrowing it down. You don't want to narrow it down too far, of course, but to narrow it down enough that you're going to be, your recipes, or you're not your recipe, your pins are going to be shown in the category that you want, and not necessarily, breakfast recipes. This is shown with all the ones with with hash browns, as opposed to just breakfast recipes where it would be all of them. You want to add those filters in so that your target market is finding you exactly what they're looking for, if that makes sense. So you might want to take a look at some of your board names and redo them. If they're boards that are ones you're not really trying to get followers on, maybe they're your own personal boards, stuff you like, that type of thing. If you don't want to make those secret and you still want people to find them, then names that aren't optimized with keywords is fine. It's just mainly the boards that you're really trying to focus on. Oh, see, so your blog board is all the way down here at the very bottom of your board feed. I'm not sure if that's because it was something that hasn't been pinned to recently or what, but you're probably going to want to resort those. I know you have it featured up in your header at the top, but it's always good to at least try to have it in the top row of your boards or in that featured row if you don't want to have them sorted a specific way. So that's just something to keep in mind. So now look at all your board descriptions. So again, for when I'm feeling crafty, so you might want to add more keywords in here. What kind of crafts are they? I see upcycled crafts with the windows here. There's more upcycled. You just need to add some more keywords like that. I'm drawing a blank for different kinds of crafts, but DIY signs. Just when you start doing a search, DIY, let's see, upcycled projects. So if you see, we've got home decor, easy. Easy's another one that would be good to put in with your DIY crafts, just as a long keyword itself. So you'll want to go through at least your most important boards, the ones that you are trying to really focus on, and make sure that those have those descriptions, because when people do a search on Pinterest, they can search by not just pins, but you can also search over here by products, by people specifically, and by boards specifically. And when you filter those down, any boards that have those names, we'll do DIY crafts because that's a popular board name. You can see all the people on Pinterest that have a board name with that exact same name, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you're going to want to narrow that down a little bit more just to help people find you a little bit better and find your board better to gain followers and extra engagement for those. So I think that's good for your boards if you work on the names and the descriptions. Moving on to the content, I know I've seen it looks like you're pinning a really good mix of your own and others. I've heard people say that you're supposed to pin 80% others and 20% of your own content. And I've seen other people that say 50-50. I usually stay about 50-50 or a little bit more of my own, depending. Maybe someday I might find, some days I'll find way more pins and it'll be more other people's content than my own. But those proportions that people give about the 80-20, you don't necessarily have to follow that. So we can see your branding here. It looks like you use just one template for your pins. They all have the exact same thing. So one thing that you could try doing, I'm just going to click over to your website here quickly, is you could have a couple of different images for your blog posts that you pin, because some colors or images might appeal to some people and not to others. So, and it's called A/B split testing. I know a lot of bloggers do it, and they'll try different things to see which one gets pinned more. So you might want to introduce at least, I usually have 3 templates and I use at least 2 per post and kind of rotate through, but you could also do 3. I change up the layout in my templates and use different colors from my branding. So everything still looks the same, but it appeals to different audiences and catches their eye differently. And so I know when it comes to adding extra blog pictures, people don't really like having all those extra big pictures in the middle of their feed when they've got their post pictures. So there is a way that you can hide blog posts or pictures in blog posts. It's just a simple little code. If you Google it, you'll be able to find it. Let's see here. If I'm trying to think of where I know there's a post that has some hidden like that. I'm just going to show you a quick example of images that are hidden in posts that you don't know are there. I'm not sure. Well, there's not a lot of images on this homepage here, but when I click the pin it button, we'll see what comes up. Did I hide images on this page? No, that's not the page I was looking for. Well, when I send you the audit checklist afterwards, I'll include the coding and somewhere where you can go see an example of what it looks like when you hide an image in your post. So it's not viewable, but when you hit this pin it button, all the hidden images come up, as well as any other ones that are on that page. And it just gives people other options for what they want to pin. You might be surprised at what people pin. You never know. Oh, I see you do have a slightly different template here with this one with the square in the middle. So that's good. You might just want to introduce maybe one more. So when I click on pinning something from your home screen, there's a couple different images. But when I go to your blog post and I click on that, I believe it was just the exact same image. So that's one thing that you might want to look at that will help increase extra traffic to your blog, because you'll be gaining the people that click on those that maybe don't necessarily like the color blue, or yeah, you've got this pink here up in your logo. I'm not sure what other colors you use for your branding. I see the teal and the pink. So if you try to incorporate that somehow, you probably see a lot of results that way. Now, I'm just going to take a quick look at your pin descriptions. So your only thing is best hands-free phone case, which that's one long tail keyword, but you can add more in here. Just a little blurb that incorporates a couple more keywords from your post maybe, or who you're trying to target. That'll help you get found a little bit more. I mean, some description's better than no description, but because the search pulls up results with those words in the descriptions, you want to make sure that you're adding more than just one long tail keyword. Just to make sure that people are finding you, and that's just going to help to increase that traffic to your site. So graphics are good. Oh, I forgot to look and see if you were a member of any group boards. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're a member of 4 group boards, so that's really good. They all look pretty active. That one's a little bit smaller, but that's all right. I usually say anywhere between like probably at least 5 group boards, 5 to 7, that you can be pinning your pins in to be spreading that around. I'm not sure if you use Tailwind to do your scheduling, but using Tailwind tribes would be another really awesome way to get your pins out there. There's some awesome blogging tribes. They're really easy to find. So if you need help with Tailwind, let me know and I can for sure help you out getting that set up, and you can find some tribes there. So I think that's about everything for your audit. There's a couple of things that I would focus on, mainly your board names and descriptions, potentially adding another pin template, and hiding those extra images in your blog posts so that they're not bogging it down, but they're still there for people to pin. All right, so I think that's everything. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know. And that's it. Have a great day and happy pinning.